Hi, this is Pat Duckworth, the author of Hot Women Rock, How to Discover Your Midlife Entrepreneurial Mojo. And I can't wait to interview my guest today because this guest is used to interviewing other people. So my guest today is the award-winning host of the late night health radio show in California. And that show is designed to empower healthcare consumers to take charge of their own health. And that's something I'm very passionate about. He's a master storyteller. From audio programs to videos for websites, he helps PR firms and their clients craft exciting content to brand and educate products, books, and more. So today I am welcoming Mark Alyn. Hi, Mark. How are you today?
Fine, Pat. How are you? Well, we talked the other day, but we were together, 8 weeks ago? 6 weeks ago? Something.
8 weeks ago. It's just amazing. Where does the time fly? We were talking in Las Vegas and it was so hot there, wasn't it?
Oh my gosh. I couldn't believe it. I walked outside to the pool area just to see what it was like, and I did a loop. Yeah.
Madness. Mark, you're used to interviewing other people. What's it like being interviewed?
I call it the hot seat, and it's a little odd for me to talk about myself in the way that an interview goes. And I think that we'll see what happens. But if I get nervous, you'll know, and the sweat will start coming out.
How many people have you interviewed in your career?
I can't even count. 25, 30,000, maybe more, maybe a little less. I don't know. I've sold over $1 billion worth of products and services, financial, homeopathic, natural, just a wide variety of products and services over the last number of years, interviewing many of these people. And I work with all kinds of people, not just PR firms and ad agencies, but also a lot of small businesses. I'm actually working on a pawn shop video right now. It's a small pawn shop. If you're in the Santa Ynez area, Santa Ynez, which is near Santa Barbara, it's called All Pawn, and it's a treasure house of stuff. And it was just a creative blast to be able to go in, interview the owners, and then come up with something and keep the price reasonable and at the same time make it effective. The effective, we're just in the editing process, but I try to over deliver. And I promised them 2 commercials. They've got 5. They're going to get 5.
They're going to love you, Mark. But we're running ahead of ourselves. Tell me how the young Mark started out. Have you always been an entrepreneur?
No, I didn't want to be an entrepreneur. And at times, I still don't want to be an entrepreneur. NBC, if you're out there, BBC, move me to London. It's okay. Australia, I can't remember the Australian network. I'm a host. I mean, while I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a producer, I am basically a host. I talk to people, and I don't interview people. I chat with them. You've been on my show a couple of times. We'll have to have you back soon. And late night health is just one aspect of what I do. I also chat for a company called Walk My Mind, where we talk about everything. They assign me guests. Sometimes I bring them guests. And it's really interesting. I mean, over the last number of years, I've interviewed thousands of people, as we've said, from all walks of life. But I started in college. I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do. So in the first day in broadcasting class, they put me on a camera. And at the end of the day, the instructor said, well, we're going to try another position for you next week. And the next week came and I did audio. And he said, that didn't work. And lighting, I was a grip. I did everything. And finally, the host of the show that we were producing didn't show up. And he turned to me, he said, Mark, you got one last shot. And I sat down and I interviewed somebody about sports, and I know nothing about sports. And at the end of the show, everybody clapped, and I went, wow. And they said, you found what you can do. You're now the host. And I've been doing that ever since. Radio, TV, and web.
So how do you develop that talent? I mean, obviously you had an innate talent to do it, but how did you develop it?
I think I'm just naturally inquisitive, or as my wife would say, nosy. I love learning about anything, and I talk to people to learn. That's my secret, if you will. In listening, as you are doing now, to what I'm saying to bring up your next question. I don't walk in with a set of questions. A lot of interviewers and hosts do. I find that staid. And so having a conversation, bringing in maybe a personal thing, somebody, you're talking to somebody and they say, my left elbow has been hurting. And so that's why I developed the left elbow cream. And I could say, my right elbow hurts. Maybe I should use a right elbow cream.
Yeah, a good friend of mine is a radio host for BBC Radio Cambridgeshire, and he'd done it for a number of years. And he said he was just interested in people, so he never knew who was coming in. Producers would book people, but he was always just interested. And if he got people phoning in, just all these different points of view. He didn't have his set questions. It was all just being curious about what would show up on the day.
No, and that's what I do. It's exactly what I do.
And you've got that fabulous voice, Mark. I know you've been told that before.
Yeah, it's interesting. In the last few years, a lot of people have been telling me that. When I was in college, I had a professor ask me one day, and we were in a production class, and I wasn't very good at the technical stuff. I've become much more adept at editing and all of that. But he pulled me aside. What do you want to do? And I said, I'm a host. I want to do radio and TV hosting. He goes, you're too short and your voice is very thin. You'll never do it. About 2 years later, when I was working for NPR as a freelance reporter, he called me, and I was working for NPR on the campus that I went to school at, and he said, I changed my mind. I like your voice. And I used to walk around, hello, how are you? Like that. And I'm Mark. I've taken a lot of voice lessons. I've taken singing lessons, though I can't really sing. And then my mentor, a man by the name of Ron McCoy, who was in the great radio studio in the sky. I miss him to this day. He's been gone quite a while. Ron said to me one day, knock it off, kid. And I said, huh? He goes, just talk to me. Don't give me the affectation. And he said, it's a nice voice. He said, people don't care about your sound as much as they care about what you say. Yeah. And he had learned that from Jim Backus when he was a boy working in radio in Denver. And Jim Backus was the voice of Mr. Magoo. And it was on Gilligan's Island. So this is what I've got. Every now and then somebody asks me to do a voice or something. I don't do voices well. My Jewish old man sounds like a Mexican worker. My Mexican worker sounds like somebody from England. I mean, it's just, and I'm not being racist here. I'm not good at it, and I know what I can do. I've done documentaries. I've done straight commercials, and I appreciate the compliment about my sound. I really do. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So what was it, Mark, that made you set up the Late Night Health radio show?
Well, that was not my first entrepreneurial effort. What happened was that I set up over 30 years ago, Mark Alyn Communications, of which Late Night Health is part of. And I set it up as a production and marketing company. I'm not a production company. every producer uses the same cameras and radios and mics and all that. My difference is my ability to communicate ideas, complex ideas, and turn them into simple ideas. The way late night health started is that I went to I woke up one day and I was like this. My back was out. And I hobbled into the shower, steamed it, and then went to my chiropractor, and I was fine. 2 days later, my back was out again. 3 days later, it was out again. And by the fourth time, my wife said, go to this doctor. And, you pick your fights with your spouse where you have at least a 50% chance of winning. I knew I wouldn't win this one, so I went to her doctor. And he offered me all kinds of things, including physical therapy, which I'd never had. And had the PT. After 5 visits, my insurance company, may I mention their name? I'm not even going to ask. Anthem Blue Cross in California, the little black-hearted bastards, denied the claim. And when I asked them why, I was told because they could. Mm-hmm. And while I was fighting the complaint, a friend of mine, Daryl Wayne, who you have met he's my technical producer on the show. Daryl offered me a chance to do radio, thinking I'd do food and wine, because as you know, that's one of my passions in life. And as you can see, and from Spirit came, I want to do a show empowering people, 40 plus primarily, to take charge of their healthcare, to ask questions. People don't ask questions. I don't know how it is in the UK, but here in the US, you get 5 to 7 minutes on average with the doctor. And you have to write your questions down so that you don't forget them. And you have to make the doctor spend the time with you. They tend to overbook because of the insurance industry actually running the healthcare industry. And that's wrong. It's just wrong. And we fight that. We talk about that on a regular basis.
Yeah, I think, that's the thing with complementary practices, is that you get time to talk about what the issue is.
Yes.
And that in itself can be healing.
No, absolutely it can be. You remember Marcus Welby? Did that show?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Everybody wants a Marcus Welby. I don't care if it's a dentist, it's a massage therapist, the chiropractor, internist, doesn't matter what kind of health care practitioner you choose to go to. But you want that Marcus Welby touch. Yes, you want the best of the best. You want somebody who really knows what they're doing, especially if you're really sick. But at the same time, you need that loving care from a doctor, from a healthcare provider, because they're in the know where your wife or your husband may not be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and you've got to build up that feeling of trust with them.
And the only way to do that is to spend time with them.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is Pat Duckworth, and I'm talking to Mark Alyn, the host of the late night health radio show in California. And we're talking...
It's all over the country.
It's all over the country. I'm just telling you where he is because I'm jealous.
I see. Got it.
I'm just jealous because, it's a cold and windy day here in the UK today. So
about 76 degrees today here where I live.
That sounds pretty nice to me, but there we are. So, Mark, I'm really interested. I know how passionate you are about health issues. And I know when people are passionate, they've got really strong values and beliefs around health. So this is a bit of a kind of a wide question, but what are your beliefs around how we should look after ourselves?
Well, I think that I believe in an integrative approach. Do I believe in big pharma? Yes, under certain situations. Do I like over-the-counter drugs? Yeah, if it's needed. Do I prefer alternative, chiropractic, massage therapy, energy healing. It goes on and on and on. Yes, I believe in all of that. And I think it needs to be intertwined. I think it needs to be, as I said, integrated so that there's no one answer for any situation, whether it's a backache, cancer, hormonal issues, for men or women, because men have andropause while women have menopause. And so I think there has to be that combination approach. Plus, I think that everybody's different. I know people who will not go to a chiropractor because they don't believe in it. I know people who wouldn't go to an MD on a deathbed. So
Yeah.
it's completely individual.
What makes you passionate about your business? What are you most passionate about in your business?
I love meeting people. It's just an extension of being a host to me. I see somebody who has an issue, a problem, they want to communicate something. I want to help them do that. I have a real estate man that I'm working with, and we become very good friends. And I'm helping him develop a series of videos. I'm meeting with somebody who she has a PhD. She teaches at local colleges and universities, but she helps actually people like you and me raise money, and has been very successful at doing that, and has asked me to come in and help her figure out what to do with video, because she's been doing something for, let's see, about 5 or 6 years, and has a whole bunch of video, but doesn't know what to do with it. I can help with that. And if you have a website, this is the biggest thing to me. If you have a website, you need video. You know that. A lot of people just think, well, I can do this on my iPhone. And even though the iPhone X is coming out and the iPhone 8 in the next couple of months, you're not going to be able to produce a video on this for your website. And I'll tell you why. There's 2 reasons. One, you have to learn the technology. You use an editing program. You didn't start out by editing like that. It took time. I use a professional editing program. It took me a couple of years to get to the point where I can say I'm an intermediate editor. I'm not an advanced editor. I usually have somebody else who has much greater skills work with me to create the final product that I envision. And so using all the tools that I have, from writing to delivering the message to the technology, I help small businesses develop and create videos that reach people.
Yeah. It's an art. So what would be your top tip then for a new entrepreneur?
Don't do your own videos. I'm serious. Have somebody else do it. Make sure that the camera equipment is good. There are 2 big reasons why people don't watch videos on the internet. 1, poor video quality. 2, poor audio quality. It's a turnoff. The BBC or NBC here in the US has all this fancy equipment, and we've been watching them for years. When we're watching a video, we have a certain expectation of the quality we want. And next time we do this, I'll have a light on me.
I caught you by surprise today, so.
I see the email yesterday. Yesterday was radio day. And when I come in, I didn't look at my emails, and I apologize.
No, I just wanted to grab you while I could, Mark. I'm just going to take this opportunity. So, Mark, people watching, if they want to find out more about you and what you do and your radio show, give us some links.
All right. The best link is to go to latenighthealth.com. The second link is facebook.com/latenighthealthradio. And I send out to a mutual friend, Robert Clancy, for helping me develop those two units. You can also email me, real simple. It's Mark Alyn.com, MarkAlyncom. It's right there, right under Pat, at mac.com. So those would be the best ways of reaching me.
Fantastic. So you're working with this pawn store at the moment. I'm imagining that's PAWN, I'm hoping.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Anything else you're working on at the moment?
I'm working on, can I show this? Hold on. No, sorry. I'm working with a product called Krilla, and I think you're going to be working with them too. I'm holding up a bottle right now for men. There are supplements for women as well. And this is an all-natural product, and I really like it. I use it regularly myself. It helps to control urinary function, promote urinary health and prostate health, and it's wonderful. For women, it helps with hot flashes. I've interviewed a number of women, and they say, one woman said, I used to get 40 hot flashes a day. 40. And within a week or less, none. The director, Sue McKenna, had 10 to 12 and would wake up soaked in the middle of the night. And so I love working on these kinds of products.
Yeah, fantastic.
KrillaHealth.com. Just thought I'd throw that out.
Good stuff. Mark, it's been such a joy to talk to you.
It's great to see you too. I'm still waiting for the duck curry legs. One of the things I have to tell people, when we started talking, over 2 years ago, Pat said, I have to go. It's dinner time here in England. And I said, oh, what are you making? And she said, curried duck legs. So I'm waiting for it.
You see, when you do these interviews in your kitchen, all this stuff can be going on back there and nobody can smell it or taste it. That's the sad thing, isn't it?
Pat, thank you very much for including me on this. I really appreciate it. It's a great honor.
It's been such fun, Mark, and I'm sure we'll do it again soon. So thank you to everybody watching, and I hope you've learned something from this. Don't do your own video. And keep watching out for more of these wonderful interviews with amazing entrepreneurs that we can just learn so much from. I'll see you next time.